Attempting to win the Asian Cup or the African Cup of Nations with a random team, part 2. So having flopped with India last time in our Asian Cup attempt, it's time to turn our attention to the Africa Cup of Nations. And the wheel has decided, as only it can, that we will take on South Africa.
Very exciting.
So here I am taking on the job and taking on the challenge of trying to get a team ranked 63rd in the world to continental glory. A quick aside here, as you may have noticed, the AFCON groups in my game there are not the same as the ones in real life. For some reason beknownst only to SI, the Asian Cup real groups are featured in FM24, but AFCON is not. Now I spent many hours trying to recreate this tournament as it is in real life in the Football Manager editor. And while I could get the correct teams assigned to the correct groups, the whole seeding and bracketing for the knockout rounds with the best third place qualifying teams mixing things up, that was just beyond my skill set. So we'll just go with the in-game version, which has drawn us in Group B with Angola, DR Congo, and defending champion Senegal. Oh, but if you do know of a true-to-life African Cup of Nations mod that's available out there, let me know in the comments. Angola as the weakest team in the group should be beatable, and DR Congo one step below us in the world rankings. That's a game we should also be targeting for a win, meaning that by the time we take on Sadio Mane and co, we'll already be through. Hopefully, obviously. If we are to be successful in this competition, we'll be relying on the likes of Percy Tau, a pacey winger plying his trade in Egypt. We'll also be looking for Rivaldo Koutsi to marshal the midfield, and we'll be hoping for goals from youngsters like Hlongwane and Burnley's very own Lyle Foster. Our first couple of games in charge were World Cup qualifiers, and if only we could play Lesotho and Rwanda in Group B. Instead, our pre-tournament warm-up game gave us a much more realistic perspective on our chances as we were trounced by host nation Côte d'Ivoire. Hopefully that would prove to be just a blip as we prepared for our first game with Angola. Or maybe not, as we found ourselves going a goal down inside the opening 6 minutes. Things went from bad to worse as we were caught out by a well-worked corner routine. This was supposed to be our easiest match. We tried but struggled to find a way through as Angola sat deep, but still threatened on the counter, and we were very lucky not to go 3-0 down here. With Lyle Foster anonymous, we brought on Mothiba, and he finally got us the breakthrough, albeit very late in the game. Could this be the start of a comeback? No, it was too little, too late, as we suffered a shock defeat. DR Congo were next, and despite slipping down the world ranking since the draw was made, they were better on paper than Angola. It was a tight game and took until the 71st minute for our goal, and it was our star player Percy Tau who found himself in space. DR Congo then streamed forward for an equaliser, but substitute Zwane capitalised on a mistake to secure the 2-0 win. A massive result that could put us in with a great shout of securing at least a third place qualifying spot. But next we would have to face Senegal, and well, strap yourselves in for this one. Inside the opening few minutes, we were gifted a penalty, Koulibaly pushing Lyle Foster. It was the Burnley man who stepped up and, well, never mind. We then watched in horror as Senegal, defending champs and favourites to retain, opened up a 2-goal lead with Boulaye Dia outpacing our defence twice. Not the start we had hoped for then, but our heroes from the DR Congo game were involved as Tau's great run set up an opportunity for Zwane, and Zwane wasn't done there, collecting the ball off a throw-in and levelling the score just before half-time. The champs were rattled, and we were fired up, and it showed as Tau was involved again, this time setting up Hlongwane to give us the lead, and then 2 minutes later Frosler entered the box unchallenged to score another. What a comeback, from 2-0 down to 4-2 up, but it wasn't over yet. And to add to the drama, it was that Mendia again who got his hat-trick and gave Senegal a chance to get back in it. And we know how this next part goes, right? Stoppage time highlight, check. Corner for the opposition, check. Last gasp equaliser, check. 4-4, and my players will be having nightmares about Boulaye Dia for weeks. But even though we missed out on the win, we still had 4 points. Not enough for second place, but it was enough to get us a spot as one of the best third place teams, and into the round of 16 to face Nigeria. And we got off to a blistering start with Mukalise scoring from distance in the opening 10 minutes. But Nigeria, of course, have Osimhen, who soon had them level. We held out until early in the second half when Nigeria took the lead through Chukwueze, who scored again 10 minutes later as our chances of progressing faded. But wait, a corner with 5 minutes to go? And yes, centre-back Daruk with the goal. So would this be our turn to make a stoppage time comeback for once? Well, a stoppage time highlight did promptly kick in. But look, man, it was for Nigeria, with Osimhen sealing the deal. So we were eliminated. But hey, at least we got one stage further than we did with India. Nigeria's tournament would end in the quarterfinals, as would Senegal's. Angola, though, what a run they went on as they beat Tunisia and then Burkina Faso to reach the semi-finals, where they finally succumbed in an absolute goalfest to eventual winners Guinea. Yep, that's right, Guinea won the whole thing. Hopefully the wheel will pick them for our next AFCON attempt. But to find out who we do our next Asian Cup challenge with, check out this video here.